Wait, what you got in your hand right now? Oh, he's dipping. Okay, that's what he's doing right now.
I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. But I chew a little red man chewing tobacco. That's the only bad habit I got, and I chew that. And I deserve that, and that's what I'm going to do. And that calms me down a whole lot, so I can get me a good old chew of tobacco and go to my shop and work on something, and I'm fine. That's the way I deal with it a whole lot. But there's one other incident that I'd like to share with you while you were doing this. Never talked to anybody about it, never said anything about it. And I just want to share this very quickly. Going over to Vietnam, I was a farmer. I worked on the farm with my parents, and that's the way we had income. And all of a sudden, I've been drafted, and I'm being shipped to a foreign country. Mm-hmm. Never been anywhere before. And I miss my parents, I miss my family, and I'm scared to death. Don't know what's going to happen. I know that the military has taught me to defend my country, defend myself, and my brother firefighter, brother soldier. So that's all I know. The North Vietnamese, the enemy that we were fighting, they know how to use propaganda against us. And I was a military police, and I was a dog handler. I had a 109-pound German Shepherd that was trained not to bark. That dog took orders strictly by hand motions, okay? And that dog did that. Anything that you would have to tell that dog, you done it with hand gestures, and he would do that. In the latter months over in Vietnam, it had got so bad that we couldn't fire a weapon without getting permission from a higher ranking officer. So,
why was that?
Because there had been some abuse, so they said Lieutenant Kelly was a lieutenant that was over there that went through a village, and every time he marched through that village, he lost one or two guys. He come back through the village, lost one or two guys. There were snipers in that village somewhere. The village people knew where the enemy was, but wasn't telling anybody. And after he lost X number of men, he leveled the town. And okay, he leveled the town. I mean, shut up everybody that was in there. It's bring my people back home or kill these people over here. That's the attitude that you had to have. And from that point on, all military people, before they went to a town, you had to stop and walk through that town or drive slow with the interpreters to find out if that's a friendly town, if they got anybody hiding in there. Okay? The convoys, that it's military policy that any convoy going, it's always going to be a Jeep or something in front of that convoy with an officer on that Jeep, and usually it's the second lieutenant, which is the lowest ranking non-commissioned officer, commissioned officer that it is. So I didn't haul anything in my convoy except explosives, bullets for my weapon, grenades, bombs, rockets, you name it. All explosives was in my convoy. And wherever we were at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we bedded down. We had infantry guys in the convoy that would go out in the woods and circle that convoy to make sure we stayed safe at night. And the infantry guys would sleep in the day in the big deuce and a quarter trucks while we were going down the road. Well, a helicopter would come out once a week to bring all the soldiers in the convoy their mail, and then take any mail that you wanted to send back to your family. Well, this particular day, and again, my dog is trained not to bark. The helicopter come out, exchange mail, and I had 5 or 6 pieces of mail that I needed to read, and 2 or 3 of them was from my girlfriend. Now that's personal stuff right there. I don't want to be reading a love letter from my girlfriend, and she's telling me how bad she missed me with another soldier reading over my shoulder. So all soldiers didn't get mail, so they wanted to read anything. So I would get my dog and walk on out to the edge of the woods or somewhere to read my mail. And this particular day I did that. I walked on out and I sat on a tree stump and I was reading my mail. And all of a sudden, some fire broke out. some bullets were flying. There was a Vietnamese up in a coconut tree that we couldn't see, and he was killing folks left and right, just shooting. And my dog had warned me that that guy was in that tree, but I paid him no mind because I was interested in this letter here. Okay, I came out to this clearing, and my dog is right beside me. He's on a leash. I have to keep him on a leash all the time. And that dog is looking around, and I'm watching him to see if there's any more enemies out there. I'm on high alert big time this time. And I come out to this clearing, and I didn't get in the clearing. I stayed in the shadows of the bushes and just looked. And there's a sign right out there in the middle. And I couldn't read the sign from the distance that I was at. So my dog was at ease, so I knew it wasn't any harm around. So we got a little closer, and I'm watching the dog. The dog's okay. And I get close enough to this sign, the dog's just sniffing the sign. He's sniffing all around. But he didn't pick up on anything. So that sign had obviously been there for a little bit. And what I read on the sign, it knocked me for a loop. And this is what it said. Negro, go home. We have no quarrel with you. And I'm trying to think, well, what the hell does that mean? Well, it's working on my mind. And that's what they wanted to do. Now, when I got shipped off to Vietnam, and that's what that sign was meant to do, and it was working on me before I had a chance to gather my thoughts and get along with it. I'm over here fighting for my country. And at the time that I went over there in 1970, I couldn't eat at every restaurant with my white counterparts.
In 1970?
In 1970, that was still today. There are some places that you're not forbidden, but you're made to feel not welcome. But then I couldn't go in every restaurant that it was to eat with my high school buddies. And here I am in a country fighting for my country that I couldn't eat in every restaurant. I wasn't respected. My boss on the job that I worked with was white. My principal at my high school was white. My mayor was white. My governor was white. And I'm over here defending a country that I'm beginning to think that didn't give a damn about me. And as time went on, that bothered me some, and I snapped out of that. That's what they wanted to do. They want me to be a problem. They want me to turn against my brothers and sisters in the military. And that's one more soldier that they ain't got to fight. So they try every tactic that they could. But I thought that was absolutely fascinating to see a sign out in the middle, at least 30 miles from anything, any kind of town or anything. How did they know that one day we might be in that little circle right there? That has always bothered me and it stayed with me. And I've never discussed that with anybody except a couple of guys that was on my company back in 1970, 71. So that was it. That was it. Now, I thank you for the interview. I've never talked to anybody about this. My hands are shaking now. My pulse rate has picked up just talking about it. Most guys don't even want to talk about it, because you start having nightmares over it again until you can calm back down and settle down a little bit. But I appreciate the interview, and I appreciate you even taking the time to find out what we went through, us old guys. And when we got out of Vietnam and came back, we had rotten apples and oranges and lettuce, tomatoes and stuff thrown at us. They called us child killers and all that kind of stuff when we come back from Vietnam. They treated us like dirt.
Were these like hippies that threw these things at you?
Yeah, they were classified as hippies, but there was a lot of people that weren't hippies that did that too. They didn't want us over there in the war, but I didn't start the war. I'm taking commands from my president at the time and went over there.